Hi, my friends. Welcome. This is the Back to Me podcast, and this is Heather, and I am super excited that you're here. You are going to hear some tips and some tricks and some ideas to help you live your happiest and healthiest self. I call it Back to Me because when you are taking care of yourself, back to me, then you can take better care of others, and we can all make the world a better place. This is Wellness Your Way, and I am super happy that you're here. Hello, my friend. How are you? I hope you're having a super day. This is Heather. This is the Back to Me podcast. You have found your way back to the Back to Me podcast, and that makes me very happy because I have another awesome human being that we're going to speak with today to find out more things about how to be as awesome as you can possibly be, right? And today I am talking to, I'm going to say it wrong, aren't I? Is it Doinita?
Yes.
The extra I makes me think I'm going to say it wrong. Doinita Ward. And you do so many things. I couldn't fit them all into the headline, but I'm so happy that you're here. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here. And
yes. And you are an Akashic Records reader, healer. What's the difference between an Akashic Records healer and an Akashic Records reader? Is there one?
I think, when you open someone's records and you just relay in information and that's it, that's kind of like you relaying. So a healer, I'm also a reader because I'll relay, but I also bring in other modalities to bring the body, the mind, the soul in alignment. So bring some healing and almost like bringing the client, the human that's, the person that's trusted me with their, their Akashic records. So it's almost like I'm assisting them to come back to their center. I'm assisting them to bring healing because we're ultimately our own healers. So I'm here to assist them to come home to themselves.
I love that. And I have talked to some people previously who do read Akashic Records, but you have so much. You have Akashic Records and Spiritual Counselor, Alchemist and Mystical Astrologer was what you wrote. And I was like, wow, first of all, that's a lot of things. But it was so interesting how that's not where you started. And these are all just things that you have brought to the front. And I'm always curious on how, what any part of the journey you want to share, you feel called to share that brought you to this place from where you began. I know.
I know, right? First of all, to be honest, when I sit in meditation and I reflect about where I am now, I am like, oh my God, I am only beginning. I am only beginning because everything that all my life until now, it has led me to where I am now. And all the struggles and, challenges and whatnot, it was just soul's life experience,
Right.
And there was always this, since I remember myself, since a child, there was always this inner desire to find out why I'm here, who am I, what's the point of being here, what's this planet all about?
Right.
And since a child, I was telling my parents, I was born open to spirit. And then the density of the world around me and the people, because I was born in a small country called Moldova, during Soviet Union, I experienced all this big transformation, like collapse of Soviet Union, all the inflation. So everything that the 3D, the life on earth, kind of the hardships. And I shut down when I was young. But there was this whisper, my soul's whisper, it's like, don't give up. There is something more. There is something there. There is something there. So since a child, I knew that I want to leave. This is not my country.
Oh, okay.
So I was telling my mom, I was telling my family that I was like, this is not my country. I'm going to, as soon as I can, I'm going to leave. And then when the opportunity came, I left. And I became a sailor out of many things. And I'm so grateful for that because I met some awesome people. I met some, it opened my horizon, literally physically, right? But also within me. I met some amazing people and had some amazing experiences. But there was always this calling for more. And then I started research, around my Saturn return. I started research spiritual counselors because it's like the dark night of the soul was getting louder and louder and louder. So it's almost like through my own challenges and traumas of being suppressed or shut down, I started exploring. I started asking questions. And then I ended up in Peru doing ayahuasca. I ended up with my teacher. Like when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? So along my way, it's like my teacher, my Akashic Records mentor. I used to call her my spiritual shrink.
Who's your Akashic Records mentor?
Bryn DePel.
Okay.
She's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful being. And so that's how I started. When I left yachting and I got an email that she's doing, the course. At the time, I was like, I didn't know what to do with myself. So I was like, yes, I'll do it.
Right.
And that with that's at least my belief and feel that everything that we feel drawn to, any healing modalities that we feel drawn to, let's say for others, but first is for us.
I think quite often that's true, that the things that you are attracted to are for you first,
Yeah.
and then maybe they evolve into something else where that thing is directly helping other people or just helps you in a way to help people.
Yeah, exactly. That's how Akashic Records came about. And for a while I thought, this is it. I'm meant just to be doing that. And then I'm in this metamorphosis yet again, because then astrology came through and I'm passionate about that. And it's not just as simple as, like just the plain, but I'm like passionate about all the Vedic, the Western, the soul astrology, astrocartography, when I look at the chart, I'm seeing patterns. So it's the same. It's almost like it's the same. It's just a different language, like Akashic.
Have you looked at human design as well?
Yes, I love it.
Oh my gosh,
And
right?
the gene keys. So
Yeah.
I kind of play. I'm a Gemini sun, so I love them all because they're all. So when I open someone's records, I bring in the astrology, human design, gene keys, and the shamanic approach to the session, for example, to this. So it's very rich, and I never know what comes first and what's needed in the moment.
And I find it and it could just be the curated feed by the internet, but it seems I always think that whatever I see on the internet, everybody sees, but then I remember that that's not true. That I find that for some communities right now, ayahuasca is like the latest trendy thing, but it's not a trendy thing. I feel like it's a sacred ritual, and that and yeah, I see you nodding. I mean, it's not something just to go out and do on a whim, right? It's a commitment to really some deep work.
Yes, absolutely. Ayahuasca, I love ayahuasca. The spirit of ayahuasca is beautiful. The spirit, the plant spirits are magical. But in the beginning, I was terrified of ayahuasca. I was absolutely petrified. The first day I went to Peru, I found myself in Peru. I've never done anything. I didn't know anything about anything at the time. It was many years ago. And I found myself doing ayahuasca, and I was not prepared. I was not ready. You're almost like being thrown in the middle of the ocean and told to swim.
Right.
But I guess I chose that experience on a soul level.
Right.
And then my life just turned upside down, inside out, and I was in hell internally, and I was a mess. And the following year, I went back to Peru, even though I was terrified of her, because it was this pull. And I kept saying in a joking way, but not really. I was like, it's either going to help me or kill me. I have to
Right.
go again. So that was the intensity of like the big boom for me. And
And I
it
think
is sacred. It is a very sacred. Sorry to interrupt. It is a very sacred. It's a very sacred work. It's a very deep work, and it is a very special work. So almost like I see around here these days, they don't honor. Not everybody honors the sacredness.
of any of the plant medicines,
Yes. Yes.
right? So they're called plant medicine because they're medicines. It's not just for Saturday night,
No.
raving or whatever. But I find it that, and I think this is especially true of the ayahuascas, to know the guide who, and trust the guide who is with you in that process, because it's not so, like you said, like you were in a place, and if I imagine that you had a guide with you, I'm assuming, because you were in Peru, and I know that some of the shaman are down there, that without the guide, who knows where you would have ended up. I mean,
Even with a guide, yes, there are lots of guides, but even with a guide, trust your heart, trust your intuition. That's the thing. Trust your intuition. If there is a drop of hesitation, then don't do it.
right.
Trust, because that's a very open, vulnerable place. You open yourself up to spirit, you open yourself up to everything. So I was in a retreat, and it was a safe space, but still I wasn't, at the time, I know that I did not receive. I received what I needed, because you always in the end receive what you need, what you ask for, right? But it could have been softer and gentler. I could have, had more prep work beforehand, like
Right.
in a way, because it felt more like a 2x4 over the head.
Oh no. I
But
think
yeah,
about I was just thinking about your comment, you get what you need. And I'm thinking, okay, I needed to, break my wrist for some reason that I won't know for a long time.
yes, yes.
I'm remembering this was one of the things we talked about in our first conversation together.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Speak to your wrist. Ask for the wisdom, because there is
Right.
always a wisdom in everything.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Perhaps slowing down in some ways.
Oh, goodness gracious. Really? Yes, yes. I hear them. I hear them. And just in case, I was just thinking, I just realized, like, I'm familiar with the Akashic Records, but in case anybody has not listened to those other episodes or missed them, maybe just a really, how do you define the records and the record keepers?
This is a great question. And actually, even me doing this work and breathing and living this frequency, for the long time, I was not able quite to describe it. That would feel aligned to myself, because it's
Right.
not. And Akashic Records is a beautiful, yummy frequency. Is the frequency of love. So imagine it's like someone, I can't remember who, so I didn't create this, but I loved what he said, that Akashic Records is the nervous system of the universe.
Oh, I like that.
Yes, it is like, it's the energy, it's the cosmic computer that stores all the imprints, all the memories, all the energies of past, present, and all the possible futures. So it's almost like this energetic database, and it's the highest frequency. And it is actually our birthright to access our own Akashic records. You know, when you have that aha moment, when you have that intuition, you go to sleep, you wake up with the answer. That's you simply tapping into that, into your Akashic records. So it's like this beautiful, deep wisdom. So people like me, for example, we were trained to, and you have to be called to this work, trained to expand, to open someone else's records. I need permission from you. And this way we can actually, you know, I work with your soul's wisdom. You know, I work with the soul's wisdom together with guides, together. So everything is possible within this sacred space. You know, whether, because everything has a soul. Let's say you have a business, your business has a soul. So you can clear and get guidance and, you know, strengthen the relationship with your business, with your work, with your children, with your family, with yourself. You know, there's a beautiful wisdom that comes through from within the Akashic records for your soul path, for example. What am I supposed to be doing? What are my gifts? Where am I going from here? I'm at the crossroads. Right. So there's just so much wonderful. It's like everything is welcome. All questions are welcome. Everything is possible. You know, there's no limits.
I find they are the guides and counselors who never get tired of you asking questions. They never get cross. I've recently learned how to open my own. So I talked to the record keepers every day. Sometimes they only have one thing to tell me. Sometimes they're very prolific, but they're never, even if I keep asking the same question, they never get tired of you asking the same question.
No, they're very, no, absolutely not. And your soul, that is why I love working with this frequency, within this space, sacred container of love. We are held, we are loved, you know, and they understand, they know that life on earth is life on earth, you know, it comes with its, and our human experience, we are, you know, we're impatient, I'm there too, you know, we're humans. So limiting or suppressing how we feel, it's, what I'm inviting myself. So I just remind myself that I am where I am, as I am, and it is okay. And I'm doing my best. So tomorrow, where I am, it will be fine too. So it's like being authentic, because this is what we are souls having experience, human experience. And
that's what I was going to say was, you know, I think sometimes we feel frustrated because part of us knows how huge or magical we are, but we're in these bodies and we feel like, why can't I do this?
Exactly, that's the 2x4, because we push, like I've experienced that. So now it's about, I'm learning the balance, right? Because in cosmos, you know, the possibilities are limitless. Within the Akashic records, the possibilities are limitless. So the shamanic work is instant. All these healings are instant. Yet the balance between allowing the body to integrate it all, allowing the body, listening to the whispers of the body, and supporting the body, because this is a sacred container for the soul. And ultimately, the body is having this experience.
Yes. And then we're storing all those experiences to add to our library.
Yes.
This was something that just occurred to me when we were talking about businesses, and I had someone comment recently that you could do the human design chart for your business. And I thought that was I don't know if you've ever tried that. Have you ever approached it that way? That because so for human design. And for people who can't remember human design, go back and listen to the human design episode. I'm a projector. So it's interesting. So I plan on doing, looking up the chart for my business to see if it's something different and how to align those energies, because it would be a very different energy than a generator or a manifestor generator. Or
Absolutely. I mean, I haven't done the human design, but I have done, the astrological charts.
Mm-hmm.
And I opened the records of a business.
Oh, so you do, yes. So the chart for the business. Whoa.
So astrological chart for business. And when I opened, like in a session with clients, I opened the records of a business.
Wow, that's very cool.
So it's just a difference. So it's like going deeper,
right,
into the wisdom, because the business, if you think the business is an extension of your soul's wisdom, that's your soul's expression.
Right.
This is you, extension of you. So you can actually connect directly to your business wisdom and speak to your business.
That's brilliant.
I know.
Oh my goodness. And do you do most deal with people mostly? Is it one-on-one that you
at the moment, yes, but in the future I will be creating groups and
journeys.
Yes.
Journeys.
I'm not planned journeys. Not so sure about that. We'll see.
Yes, only if you are called to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Because I know dealing one-on-one is you can only touch so many people.
Yes.
And I mean, everyone's journey is different, but I find it interesting for the practitioners I talk to who deal only one-on-one. I'm always want, and I'm sure you would be fine. I always think, are you okay? Don't burn yourself out.
Yes. I mean, I went through that phase.
Right.
When I realized that it is not. So yeah, that's why I said earlier today that I am still going through the metamorphosis, because working with this wisdom of the Akashic Records, so right now I am in this frequency, almost like I'm breathing it, I'm living it. So and all the other work that I've been doing, inner work, and I'm continuing to do, just is a very big part of my life. This my spiritual evolution, my inner work. Because the more I'm aligned with myself, with my higher purpose, the more I'm able to assist others, be authentic and able to assist many others.
Right.
So I lived through that. So right now I'm shifting. But you see, it's like where we are is where we need to be. So I am in the moment of my life where I'm like at the new beginning. So the new beginning has started, but I'm still clearing the old beginning, per se.
I feel like we're always beginning.
Yes,
We're
but
always
right now in my life, I feel and I know that I'm in a huge change, radical change, because also moving. As I said, I do astrocartography as well, but more of like a soul astrocartography. So all these tools, magic tools that I use is like, I look at it as I work with the soul's wisdom. So I read it differently probably than others. So where I am, I know that I'm moving. I'll be moving soon when the time clicks. Physically moving houses.
Okay.
I'll physically moving houses, states and houses and everything else. So that's when I'm going to expand and looking at my chart, astrological chart, looking at my progress chart, looking at all the other bits and bobs of,
Someone sent me a link recently who I was talking to about breaking my wrist, and it was a chart based on your birth date that showed where the planetary alignments were on the day that you were born. And because she said her husband, whenever he goes to Mexico City, he loses something. And she said you can see in his astrological chart, there's something that goes through Mexico City on the day he was born that dictates his could influence his experience while
Absolutely.
he's there. So I thought that's fascinating.
Oh,
So I went to see if Jordan was a bad place for me to visit, but I couldn't tell.
you
I couldn't tell.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, for example, I'm passionate about astrocartography, you know, just like I spend sometimes hours just staring at it and just letting the downloads come and the planets speak to me themselves. And have you been, like, for example, here's an example. Throughout your life, you've traveled
Mhm.
and you've experienced like somewhere you land and you feel so good immediately. And some other places you don't feel that good.
Right.
Or there is some sort of energy within that is not quite peaceful. So that's just your natural antenna to all these different planets within your chart, you know, the astrocartography of your natal chart. For example, right now where I'm in Florida. I am living on a Mars line.
Mhm.
So that's not very comfortable. Mars and IC line. So that's not very comfortable. But at the same time, I was guided to come here to crack the nut, to go deeper into my own healing, right? So now that I have this toolbox with magical tools in my basket, right, in the toolbox, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move to something that
You can't always take the easy way, right? Mars, I just think, God of War.
we can. That's the thing. But we didn't know how. We didn't know how.
Right.
We can. Right now, I'm choosing, I keep saying ease and flow. Ease and flow. You know, in the past, it was, remember this, you know, all the suppression that we grew up, like the brainwashing. But it's like as a children, as society, you know, we are programmed, we are set in certain ways, you know, work hard, suffering brings you to enlightenment, yada yada yada. And that's been thousands and thousands of years. And we're shifting. We're at the precipice because our Aquarius entering Pluto. We're into this massive collective new life.
We don't have to believe anymore
No,
those
no.
old stories. And it is so prevalent. I mean, every society you go to, there's some form of you can't get ahead if you don't work and sweat and toil and be the martyr and all of those things. And I think, why? Nobody ever tells you why it has to be that way.
Exactly, because life is supposed to be enjoyable. Life is supposed to, you know, life is beautiful.
Right.
If we allow.
And if you can do ease and flow, then I feel like if you are in a state of ease and flow and in aligned and in your center and in yourself, then when you are interacting with the world, you don't disrupt. It's not like people would intentionally disrupt other people's energy or lives, but it's like they bump into each other. All these hard edges bump into each other. Where if you're just flowing, one just flows by the next and everybody is swimming along. You were on a yacht.
I know. But you know, it's like that's why it is so important to, that's why these spiritual practices, because yes, I am aware of it. And I practice a lot of awareness, body awareness, you know,
Right.
grounding awareness. But we are still all one. We're all connected. So the collective is still where it is. It's going to take a minute or two for us all to just shift and awaken. And
if someone said to you how to start, what do you I mean, a good way for someone who doesn't even know how to begin. Just something. I mean, I have the things I tell people, but I'm curious.
You know, something to start to. I'm still loving that because that's the essence. That's essentials. Choose you. Say yes to you. Spend time in nature. Give yourself space and time to be with yourself, to become curious about life and about yourself. Ask for help, support, listen to your intuition, go where you feel drawn, connect, go for, get a massage, get a spiritual counselor, the healer, whatever, because there's so many amazing people that offer so much amazing, unique support because, trust your frequency, connect to the like-minded people. Trust your intuition. Go where you feel good. Connect with the people that make you smile. Spend time with animals. Almost like, come back into your center. Stay grounded, positive. Don't watch TV. News.
Right.
Don't watch the news. Just do what makes your body purr and your heart sing. And even if it's a small thing daily, and when you feel like when you fall and you bruise yourself, that's when it's nice to be really gentle with yourself in that moment. Because I still fall and get bruised. We all do, and that's the journey.
Right.
That's the journey.
Yeah, part of it, I think, for a lot of people is when they do something that they see that they think is out of alignment with how they should be, in quotation marks, then they punish themselves instead of being the opposite, being kind.
Be mindful of the words, be mindful of how you speak about yourself, because the body doesn't know. The subconscious doesn't know. So if you say negative things about yourself, your body, your subconscious, they take it as the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's the truth. So be gentle.
And it also doesn't understand sarcasm. So don't even joke with yourself.
No, that doesn't.
Right.
Not at all. And it's like, I work with essential oils. I love essential oils. So my work is not just aromatherapy. Like, I go deep into psychotherapy with essential oils, and it is incredible tool. So if you feel drawn to certain modalities, if you feel drawn to moving your body, if you feel drawn to essential oils or anything else, they're all beautiful. They're all here, all of these modalities, they're on people, they're here to support us on our journey. And even ayahuasca, I haven't done it in a while because they're all plant medicines to help us. It's almost like they're supporting us, they're helping us to come home to ourselves.
Right. Unlock some of our layers of whatever we've put on there.
Yes, they're guiding us back home to our hearts, because the heart knows the truth. So when you are in doubt, hold it in the heart, go to your heart, because the heart, as my teacher says, the heart is the best janitor. Everything that you hold in the heart will know if it's true, it will amplify it, and you'll feel extraordinary. But if it's not of truth, if it's not true and it's just camouflage or whatever, you will notice, because even if it's painful, traumatic event or a situation with a person or an experience, a quarrel at work or something, and you feel really distressed, you hold that situation in your heart and you might feel actually much worse for a moment or two, and then it will just like, you'll feel better. So having your awareness, think about the situation. That's an example that I practice daily and I tell my clients all the time. And it's simple. Think of a situation or a person or anything and put your awareness on your heart and think about that. And stay there till you notice a shift. Because sometimes it's true, for example, something good, but it's all, like chords and everything is just yucky energy around it. So the heart will just nicely clean it, polish it.
Right. I love that analogy. That's so good. And it's true. I've listened to so much of Greg Braden in the Heart Math Institute and talking about the energy of the heart and that it can't lie. It
The heart
knows the truth.
Yep.
Our brain lies to us all the time.
Exactly. So whenever you feel that's a trick, like be aware of how you feel in each moment if you can. Like whenever, breathe. That's another thing. Is like pay attention to your breath, because our breath, the first thing we do when we come into the body, we take an inhale. The last thing we do, we exhale. So breath.
If I was going to say, if you think about the lungs, they are actually on either side of the heart. And when you breathe, it's the heart and the lungs are just kind of massaging each other almost. You know what I mean?
Dancing.
Yes, dancing. I remember I had an ultrasound of my heart at one point, and she told me the heart just swings back and forth a little bit when you're breathing. I was like, really? I had no idea, because she kept moving her device. I said, what are you doing? And she was just following the movement of the heart. I said, I just thought it sat there. But no, it moves.
It moves. Everything is alive.
Everything is alive.
Everything
So
is
good.
alive. So yes,
Oh,
the deep
Doinita.
breath, the oil,
Yeah.
the centering yourself. And whenever you feel, that's one thing that I always, especially now, these days, we are in the energies are powerful. The crumbling of the old is strong. So now more than ever, it is important to trust your heart and come home to your heart.
It feels like chaos when change is happening, especially with something that has been around for so long. It will feel like chaos.
And
But
fear.
yes. So when you feel that, I know people who can't not watch the news. So just like have an exhale.
Yes, don't take it on. Don't take it on, even though it's the subconscious still picks it up and all that. But don't take it on. And it's very important being present, being in the moment. If you feel fear, go back into your heart. You know that you're in the head then. I know. It's like when there is some sort of like negativity and such. I was like, I am, because when you're present, all is well.
Right.
If you don't feel good, if it's like worry or fear, then you're either in the past or the future.
Right. So true. That's excellent. Oh my gosh, you have so much wisdom.
Oh, I'm just
Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing some of what you know to our listeners. And I always allow my guests the last word. So, do you have a final word of wisdom or words?
Gosh, there are many words.
Hmm.
But one is choose you, get curious about life.
Yes, that's beautiful.
Choose you. Because when your cup is full, then you can give more to everybody. It's just natural. When your frequency is high, just being yourself, be you. Be you, because there's no one else like you. Be you, and then the radiance of your heart and the joy and the love that will emanate out of you, it will naturally improve the lives of the ones around you. You will naturally help the collective. Just be you.
That's excellent. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh,
It was such a pleasure to chat with you and to learn more about all of these things. And friends in podcast land, you can find Doinita at her website, doinitaward.com.
Yes.
And it's DOINITA, friends.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. The second I tends to get lost somewhere.
It does get lost. And if you can't remember that because you're driving or doing something, don't worry. It's in the show notes. And definitely go and visit, because there are so many good things with all of these magical things that you bring to the world. So thank you so much. Thank you, friends in podcast land. Send this to all of your friends who could use some help and some love in their lives. And we will see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi, my friend. Thanks so much for listening to this entire podcast. If you found it useful and you're like me and you like helping others, please feel free to share this. Give it a like, give it a comment. If you found something useful in it, there's a chance that someone else will find something useful as well. Also, if you have any questions at all, I can absolutely help, and I would love to help. You can email me at heather@prosperityflowcoaching.com. If you want more of this awesome content, you can follow me on Instagram, Heather Stewart Coaching. You can follow me on Facebook, Prosperity Flow Coaching. And I have a personal request. I want to help as many people as I can with these podcasts. And if you could give me a review, hopefully a good one, if you could share, if you could send this out into the world, I would truly appreciate it. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope that you find your way to wellness by getting back to me. Take care, my friend.